How do you get more gigs as a musician? And if you're watching this video right now, you most likely have experienced this or you are experiencing this right now in some way, shape, or form. And that's something I wanted to talk about because, heck, I've struggled with it a lot of my musical career. And I wanted to provide some insight here. And I'm not saying this is the solution. I'm not saying that this will solve everything, but this is a trend, a pattern I've seen amongst a lot of musicians in multiple cities. And that is, how are you investing your time and energy? How are you building your network? Now, most of us are really familiar with networks in terms of social networking, right? We're on Facebook, maybe Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. I mean, I'm on a lot of those platforms as well, and I've used those to get gigs. They are very effective tools. But I like to think about that as kind of investing, or maybe even planting crops. And those social networks are just one seed, okay? And if you only plant one seed in one place, will it sprout? Maybe. But if you plant multiple seeds in multiple different places, you have much better chances of succeeding. Now, I'm not knocking online networking at all. It's really effective. But some of us are using this as a substitute for in person networking as well. And here's what I mean by that. How much time are you investing into going out, talking to people in the real world, going out to other people's gigs, supporting them at their shows, talking to them before and after their shows? If you're not playing tonight and you want to be playing tonight, what are you doing about that? And I think a lot of times it's so convenient just to type something on our phone, just to post something. And I think a lot of musicians out there, we really care and we want to succeed. And it's not because we're lazy, but sometimes we're taking the most convenient path, the path of least resistance. Some of us, like myself, have some social anxiety, right? Like, I hate getting up in front of people, and I don't mind playing. I love playing, but I hate going up to people that I don't know, or I kind of only know kind of, on the outside, we're acquaintances, but we're not really friends. It makes me really uncomfortable getting in front of them and talking to them. I feel disingenuous. I feel awkward. Maybe you feel that way. Or maybe you just don't want to go out, because I feel that way a lot as well. And, it's awkward. I mean, I'm even getting awkward right now thinking about it. I'm even having that voice inside my head as I'm talking about this saying, oh man, you're sounding like a fool. And that voice really goes off inside of my head when I'm out talking to people at gigs, when I'm going out to support them at their gigs. So if you are in that camp or if you're not in that camp, I still want you to consider this. If you go out in person, talk to people, go to their gigs, let's say you go to 10 gigs per week and you talk to people. Those 10 people are going to see you. You're going to be in their head. And let's say you only have maybe like a 10-20% success ratio of getting gigs. If you ask 10 people, you can look at it as, you know what, I'm rejected 8 times. It makes me feel like pathetic. It makes me feel like garbage. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me look weak. Or you could look at it as like, you know what, I got 2 gigs out of that. Okay? And 2 gigs is a lot better than 0. And if you aren't willing to get uncomfortable and get in front of people, you might not get that gig. And I know it's a tough ask, right? It's uncomfortable. If it was easy, everybody would do it and everyone would have a lot more gigs. So one thing I've been doing when I'm playing out, if I'm playing at a show with multiple bands and I'm either the headliner or a middle band, or even if I'm in the first band, I'm always there early. I want to talk to the other musicians and I'm going to stay for all their sets. Because yeah, I could go home after I finish playing, or I could show up late if I'm the last person, but my job is more than just playing music. It is establishing connections, finding other people to play music with. If I'm playing on Broadway in Nashville with just a strip of bars where there's always music going on, I get down to my gig early and I go out and see other people play. If I don't know them, I say, hey, you sounded really good. I would love to play with you. If I do know them, I say, hey, maybe text them afterwards saying, man, you sounded great. Um, just kind of not really angling for anything at all, but really just getting in front, being in their minds. And if they're a friend of mine, I'll take some photos, I'll take some videos, and I'll send it to them saying, hey, saw you playing, not sure if you could use this, here's something you could use. Uh, and I do this for a lot of different reasons. I mean, partially because, oh, I'm learning from other musicians. I'm seeing them play, I'm getting ideas, I'm getting inspiration. But if you're out of sight, you're out of mind, really. And part of the job is just getting to know people. And so even after I finish my gig, a lot of times I want to go home and I just want to relax and chill out. But I'm down there, there's already a bunch of other musicians playing. So I want to go check out those musicians playing. Maybe I can get some inspiration. Maybe I can see, oh, here's some songs that they're playing I don't know. Maybe I should prepare for them. Maybe another musician is playing that I played with before, and they give me a chance to sit in. And maybe there's somebody else playing in that group that I've never played with before, and so I make a connection right there. Maybe there's somebody else finishing their gig. I've never met them before, but I think they're playing really well, and I want to play with them in the future. I say, hey, you sound great. I would love to work with you. Here's my information. And even me saying that right now makes me a little bit uncomfortable, right? Because I have a certain discomfort with promoting myself. I feel like if I'm really good at what I do, my playing should speak for itself, and I shouldn't need to tell you how great of a player I am, because you should know. But if you've never come out to my gigs, if you don't know who I am, you're never going to know. So I got to put myself in front of you. And that's really awkward for me. Like, I personally don't feel comfortable with it. I don't feel comfortable taking selfies. But again, these are things that, like, would I rather have that long-term discomfort of not having gigs, not having enough money, feeling bad about myself because I feel like I'm a failure as a musician? Or would I rather have that short-term discomfort of going and talking to someone, maybe having an awkward interaction, maybe even getting a rejection? But if I have enough of those short-term uncomfortable interactions, eventually they become a little bit more comfortable to me, but also eventually they'll lead to gigs. Hell, if you ask 100 people, 5% of those people say yes, you got 5 gigs right there. 5 gigs, you can do a lot with 5 gigs. You can make money, you can make content off of that, you can make really good connections, you can promote those gigs. You know, it's a little bit uncomfortable asking 100 people, but you get over that. Those 95 rejections, they're a lot easier to stomach when you have 5 yeses. So you'll never get a gig unless you ask. And if you've had gigs before and they've dried up, maybe try doing something like this. I mean, even me just talking right now to the camera, it's a little bit awkward and uncomfortable for me. I've been doing this for a few months right now, and I'm still getting used to it. But I'm still here. I've actually gotten a few gigs out of it. Has it been uncomfortable? Yeah. Has there been a learning curve? Yeah. But I really love what I do as a musician, and I want to find other ways to keep doing what I'm doing as a musician. And I'm also thinking, how can I help other people? What are the tips? What's the advice I would have given myself 10 years ago, 10 weeks ago even? And if I can create that and help other people, cool. And that's really my intention here, is like just having a discussion. So if you've watched this far, again, I say this with sincere gratitude, and I am simply humbled that people are watching this. I've had a lot of people comment saying, hey, we really like your stuff, and it shocks me every time, but I am grateful for it. And that's why I keep on making videos. So if you like what I'm doing here, shoot me a message. Again, shoot me a comment, like it, subscribe. If there's something you want me to talk about, shoot me a message. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you out there on a gig.